Hey, Nick.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on?
I'm getting ready to light up a bishop.
I just had myself a gator.
Are you guys tired of hearing us say this?
We're sick and tired of playing this.
We are. And why don't we record it? We just keep doing it live every time.
I don't know. You guys just need to go over to martinezcigars.com and pick up some bishops and gators.
Yeah.
Make us happy.
Yeah.
We'll stop playing this if you guys just buy our cigars.
Tell you what, we'll make you a deal.
What's that?
If they go and buy the Bishop and Gator, we're going to do this podcast for free for them.
There we go. Go buy bishops and gators.
Now coming to you from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios. It's the Cigar Pulpit.
Okay, are we starting now?
Stop. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and with me, as always...
It's your band Gator.
And...
we have a special guest.
We do have a special guest. So joining us today, we have Trey Mac. He is the sales rep for Aladino JRE Tobacco. How are you?
Great, man. How y'all doing? Appreciate you guys having me on the show tonight.
We're having a great time.
We're excited you're here.
Coming to you from the Aladino Mobile Studios.
Exactly.
Currently broadcasting at Top Shooters in Columbia, Illinois.
We cannot be more grateful to JRE Tobacco for hooking us up.
We appreciate you guys, too.
You guys have been good to us.
A lot of love.
Do I have you to thank for the sponsorship?
I think it goes both ways. I think there's a lot of, a little nudge here, a little nudge there. Listen to the show here, listen to the show there,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Were we your first choice?
Well, I really wanted to be on the Pat McAfee show. That was that was my first choice. Didn't work out, but you guys were number two.
We're glad you're here.
That's good. So today, we're actually going to be smoking a selection from Aladino.
We are. Imagine that.
I know. And I'm going to put Trey on the spot here, and he's going to tell us about these cigars. So I have the Aladino Maduro.
Yes, you do. Well, everything that we do starts with Corojo. Julio Aurora is the king of Corojo, or after Tiger King, I like to say Corojo King. And
I like that.
I mean,
it's good.
We'll work that in.
I really, and especially if people would, gather behind me right now, I want to have a shirt with Julio's face on it, and it says Corojo King.
I think that's a good idea.
I think we can probably make that happen.
I think they would sell like crazy.
I think so, too. And I think you need to get, like, a crew of people to wear those to, like, one of the trade shows.
That'd be awesome.
I think that would be really funny.
That would be wicked.
You just have, like, 25. Because something like that, it only takes 20, 25 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, man, this shirt's everywhere.
I know. Finding a girl with one arm is going to be tough.
Oh, no, we've got the hookup. It's down in Tampa.
Oh, done. You have to.
Okay.
You got to do the Tiger King thing. You got to have a one-armed girl.
Yeah.
We met a one-armed girl down in Tampa?
Oh, my God. You were trying to get her laid.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Admittedly, I was very drunk at that moment.
You got to reference back to our trip to Tampa, to Ybor City. You can hear all about that.
Kind of forgot about that.
You might want to listen to that show again.
Forgot about that. Yep. Okay.
She was delightful, by the way.
She was, and
she was delightful.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that.
What was her name?
I don't know.
We reference it on the show. We talk about her and her husband on the show, but I can't remember now on the spot. But she was really nice. She was super sweet.
Yeah. It was her husband's birthday, and she had rented a room at the hotel to, do something nice for him and everything. And so he was going to get laid, but I was trying to, grease the wheels so that everything was on the table.
God.
And so
sorry, Dre.
Yeah.
No. I'm intrigued here.
I mean,
especially
so that's why I started feeding her drinks, and Jeff's like, it's going to happen. And I'm like, it's not a matter of whether or not it's going to happen. It's whether or not what is going to happen.
Yeah.
It'd
be super awkward for me. I mean, the sex would be fine, but I like to cuddle afterwards. So it'd probably.
Oh, well, yeah.
I really look forward to the cuddling.
Nick's a cuddler, too.
Drunken cuddling. Yeah. I don't know how well that works. But
Well, and it's funny because she embraced it. Like, we instead of high five, she'd say, hi, Nub. And it was great.
Yeah, she was cool about it.
She was cool about it.
So awesome. Yeah, we had such a good time. And I feel horrible. I can't remember her name right now because she was they were just the nicest people.
Yeah.
We met some people that were a little crazy on that trip, too, but they were really nice.
I was drunk as shit, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I had to babysit him. It was brutal.
Well, Ybor's just fun.
Oh, we had a great time.
So much
It's
fun.
like being in another country.
It really is. It's cigar capital, of the country, in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so much fun to be there. So I hope you don't mind. I need to get mine out of the cellophane.
Yeah, go for it. Just make sure everybody hears that.
Yeah.
Little ASMR.
See? He does listen. Pinky right now is like, oh, I love that sound.
Are you done?
Okay.
It does sell. I mean,
I guess. I don't know. So you were talking about how all of your cigars start with the Corojo.
yeah, the Corojo's been the base of the Aurora family for decade upon decade, and it gives us a signature spice. What I like about Corojo is that it's spicy, but it's not like an overpowering spice. You can, like we do in our Connecticut, put the Corojo in there. It adds a layer of complexity and a tad bit of spice without taking. I mean, anybody can smoke it, right?
Yep.
So with this one here, the Maduro, on the outside, you've got a San Andreas wrapper, nice dark shade that adds like a baker's chocolate, dark cocoa sort of vibe to it. It's not going to be overly sweet, but a little bit of that dark chocolatiness along with the spice. So I like to tell people it's kind of like, you all right over there?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing show prep.
He's studying his cellophane.
I like to tell people if you've ever had dark chocolate with like cayenne pepper, that if you like that, you're going to like that.
Which is a really neat combination.
It is. It's awesome.
So I, on the other hand, am smoking the Aladino Vintage Selection. I've got a nice Rothschild here.
You do?
Yep.
That would be the show prep as he read that off the
Yeah, that's impressive.
See, Trey is used to listening to the show, not actually seeing my stupidity.
He brings his A game to the table, you know.
I dig it.
Very distracting to the guests.
So the vintage edition.
The vintage Habanos, that's an interesting story. So again, it's going to start with our Corojo, and then it's got a really old, I mean, the Corojo's old too, and then the Habano wrapper's also old. So usually when you think Habano, you think of spice, and you think of Corojo, you think of spice.
Yeah.
So you're thinking this is a spice bomb.
Yeah.
However, the story behind this is these were rolled during the non-compete when Camacho had been sold to Davidoff. And Julio's theory was like he's got all these Rothschilds laying around everywhere in this aging room. Like, you know, what's going on with this? And so it's always it's cheaper to make a cigar today than it will be tomorrow.
Yes.
So the whole time, the 6-year period while they were in the non-compete, Julio's still just cranking out cigars, just throwing them in the aging room.
That's incredible.
So through an older Habano wrapper leaf around some older Corojo, and what you get is a really super creamy experience. I mean, it's creamy, it's smooth, which when you think of Corojo and Habano, you're like, no way. But that's 6 years old before it ever hits the shelf.
Wow.
So it's a very creamy. It's a mellow.
Behind the Cameroon, this is probably my favorite cigar of your line.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm looking forward to smoking it.
So you'll be super stoked then when the rest of that line comes out later this year.
Ooh, wait.
So yeah.
Wait. There's more.
There's
more coming out.
Lancero.
I think that's news.
Lancero, Toro. We haven't decided yet, but I think 99% sure a Gordo as well is going to happen.
Ooh.
So
Nickel like that.
Yeah. We've had the Toro. It's not too much of a secret because the Toro has been exclusive to a store in Pittsburgh, the only Aladino lounge in America.
We got to get out there.
They've had our
I
Toro.
agree.
It's a really cool place.
Yeah.
I mean, when you walk in, there's this giant picture of Julio greeting you as you walk into the lounge, and
That's cool.
they did a great job. It's very pretty.
We need to have somebody do a cigar pulpit lounge where there's a giant picture of you just greeting them.
Nobody wants that.
We can get like your naked gardening picture with you holding up the kale.
You know what we can do? We can Photoshop in cigars instead of the kale in my
There you
hands.
go.
That's perfect.
And then underneath it, you put sexy with veggies.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
our
it.
friend Al at the Good Cigar thinks he has the sexiest podcast. I'm giving you a run for your money there, buddy.
Yeah.
I dig it. So I think you'll enjoy that today.
Awesome.
And then you're smoking.
I'm smoking the same thing you are, actually.
Okay, all right.
I went with it's later in I start Connecticut, work my way up. If I were to smoke another one after this today, I would go ahead and do the Corojo Reserva.
I
that
like
one.
that.
You're a big fan of that.
I have a number 4 sitting in my travel humidor right
So
over there.
good. Those
I
are my
love that thing.
favorites.
So, well, how about we go ahead and cut these cigars? And the official cut is brought to you by Dan the Man Ponder over at Riverman Cigar Company.
In Crestwood, Missouri.
And Dan, he carries the full line of Aladino cigars. Now, you and Dan have a little history
We go way back.
from a trip down to Honduras.
We did. I was down there interviewing for this job, actually.
So this would have been, February of last year, right before COVID hit.
Yeah, in fact, it was, I believe we came home the day after Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And we didn't exactly know that the world had changed until we got to Miami, and things had changed while we were in Honduras.
Quite a bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, spent some good time with Dan, got to know him, and then have since been to his store several times. And I just, what can you say about Dan? He's as authentic, genuine as it comes.
Salt of the earth.
Yep.
Anytime you go to Dan's place, you know he's not just trying to sell you some crazy expensive cigar. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're getting into cigars, Dan's going to be the type of guy to not bullshit you, get you into what you need to be into. And then if you're an experienced smoker and want to try something new, Dan has so many different things, and he's tried everything, and he's knowledgeable. He'll set you up. I mean, Dan is literally the man.
And what's nice, too, is if Dan doesn't have something that, like, let's say, you have it in your head, I want to smoke XYZ, whatever cigar it happens to be.
Yep.
Even if he doesn't have that cigar, he knows 2 or 3 other cigars that are in the same profile, same flavor, and everything like that he can point you to and say, hey, if you like this, have you tried this? And he can turn you on to other cigars that you might like as well.
Yeah, he knows what's going to scratch your itch.
Yep. And Dan, he does mail order.
He does.
Guys, if you're living in an area that you don't have a brick and mortar, or let's say you're not rolling through the St. Louis area, but you still want to support a brick and mortar store, just give Dan over at Riverman a call. He can put together a nice box and ship it out to you the next day, and you can be enjoying those cigars right away. So that's Dan Ponder over at Riverman Cigar Company, Crestwood, Missouri. And with that, it's time that we go ahead and cut the cigar.
There you go. I'm going to need to borrow your cutter.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you're kind of laid up, dude.
Okay.
You're kind of wincing and
I've damaged myself.
being a little weak. So what's going on
I
with you?
hate to even admit what happened.
Oh, well, it's going to come out one way or the other. It's just either I'm going to tell everybody or you will.
I sneezed yesterday, and I think I broke a rib. And laugh at that all you want, but oh my God, I'm in so much pain.
I mean, I get it because, I did throw my back out at Mother's Day last year picking up a shirt, so I get it. But
Okay, so it's
not quite the same as breaking a rib.
Yeah.
But
Now, our friend Trey mentioned he has a similar story.
Yeah, getting old is...
It sucks, dude.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when I first got here, he's telling me about your condition, and he's like, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I do. I think you pulled a muscle myself.
I hope that's all it is. I don't know what I've done.
And I was like, no. I mean, a couple years ago, I bent down to pick up a piece of paper and had a violent sneeze at the exact same time. Heard a pop, felt a pop.
Yep.
And then the rest of the day, I couldn't breathe very well, and I couldn't work.
Yeah.
And the next morning, because I didn't sleep the whole night. And that next morning, I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And this might be serious.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't breathe. Like, I was having a hard time laying down and sleeping.
See, and I'm too cheap to go to the doctor. So,
see how the night goes.
Yeah. So, yesterday it hurt so bad. Like, I was supposed to be laying my paper out. I actually moved my publication back a day. And there was a computer crash in there, too, that set me back. And I just threw my hands up and gave up and said, God doesn't want me to do this today. Because I hurt so bad I couldn't concentrate on what I was doing. Yeah, it was the pain was unbelievable.
Okay.
It's better today, but I'm doing that whole thing you do with kids, where you alternate the Tylenol and the Motrin. I'm doing Tylenol and Advil like every 2 hours. I'm keeping myself as medicated as I possibly can legally.
Is that what the bottles recommend?
What's that?
Is that what the bottles recommend?
I think Advil's actually 6 hours. I'm cheating a little bit on that. The Tylenol's every 4.
Okay.
So you can alternate them.
So you're just destroying the liver.
Oh,
every 2 hours.
Okay. Massive liver damage.
Okay.
But at least I can sit here and talk to you and sit upright in a chair for the time being.
That's valid.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
I'm hoping all I did was pull a muscle. And next on the hit parade would be cracking a rib, because the third thing that I've done the WebMD research on is actually tearing your cartilage. And that doesn't heal for like 3 months, if that. So I'm praying that that's not what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So make fun of me all you want, but I am in just extreme pain.
Well, you called me on your way here, and you're like, I didn't realize getting into my Jeep was going to be so painful.
Oh, my God. I had to climb up in the Jeep, to get here. And it was all I could do to get my leg in my right leg into the Jeep so I could drag the rest of my body into it.
I'm only laughing because I know you'd be laughing at me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there would be no mercy on my part. So I trust me, you're not hurting my feelings.
All right. So Why don't you do your cold?
Don't make me laugh. God damn, it hurts.
Oh,
It hurts so bad.
This is going to be so much fun. So why don't you do your cold draw there, Jeff?
Okay, let me cleanse the palate here. Have a little tea. Okay. There's a real sweetness to this cigar.
There's an earthy component to the Maduro.
Okay. On this one, on the vintage, on the cold retrohale, are you a pro
I
cold
know
retrohale?
I know where this is going.
You know of it.
I fully know where this is going.
Nick just lights up now. He wanted to do it. I'm going to tell you something. Dentine gum on the cold retrohale.
Cold retro.
Cinnamon. I'm getting cinnamon.
Cinnamon I can go with.
Dentine gum. Cinnamon.
Okay.
I'm getting dentine gum on the cold retrohale. Oh, thank you.
Jeff doesn't bring any tools with him, so he has to borrow my cutter and apparently my lighter.
Normally, if I have a hoodie on, I'll have a lighter.
It's not like he's coming to a cigar podcast or anything like that. You know, it's just
Fine.
no.
Look, I suck. Okay, I hurt really bad. Yeah, dentine gum. There's a strong cinnamon flavor to this cigar, which is
See, when I think of cinnamon gum, I'm thinking Big Red, which I'm not a
it's
fan
not.
of.
It's not Big Red. Dentine is slightly. How do I want to say this? Dentine would be more. It's more subdued, more subtle. Where Big Red just smacks you in the face. This isn't smacking you in the face. You're just getting that like dentine flavor of that gum. Like if you smelled a piece of dentine gum, that's the taste that I'm getting on the cigar.
Okay.
So there you go. You're welcome to use that when you're out selling.
Yeah, I will. I prefer to use I say like Thai cinnamon.
Ooh, now see, you're really getting down into the weeds there. I like that.
So and the reason I know about Thai cinnamon is that usually cinnamon for me, like I have like a headache reaction to it, like red hots or things like that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
know. The fake cinnamon. Okay.
I get, but I went to the point like if I'm gonna like even like cinnamon toast or anything.
Yeah,
I learned that I can buy Thai cinnamon and it's a more subdued cinnamon, and I love it.
Okay, now we're going into the weeds on this now.
Oh boy.
Do you realize that cinnamon that you buy in the store isn't cinnamon?
It's BS.
Yes, it is not actual cinnamon.
It's kind of like wasabi. It doesn't really.
It is not actual cinnamon. Cillian cinnamon or true cinnamon, like you're talking about with the Thai cinnamon, that's the cinnamon that actually has a lot of those medicinal healing properties to it. But cinnamon you buy in the store is I don't want to say look-alike plant, it's a taste-alike plant. And they use the bark of the taste-alike plant to make most of the mass-produced cinnamon that you find in stores.
See, it makes sense now.
Yep. That's it. That's why. So.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I always buy my cinnamon at like the, hippie stores because they have the real stuff.
It's the best.
Yep.
Agreed.
I'm lighting up.
Please.
Why I do that? Why don't you tell us about your stick there? Or just smoke and, not talk. Either way. Either way is good.
I mean, you caught me off guard. I did just do a retrohale, and there is the Corojo pepper, Corojo spice on the retrohale there, which would make sense, But otherwise, it's got that kind of earthy, like you said, kind of chocolatey flavor to the cigar. It's
not a sweet chocolate. It's more of
a
baker's
chocolate. Yeah. But it's good. I like it.
Ooh, this is good. Like you said, it's just creamy. Mm-hmm. And again, if you were to just go in and pick the cigar up, in the humidor and decide if you were going to buy it or not, you wouldn't look at the cigar and think, "Oh, I bet that's a creamy cigar."
No.
It doesn't have that look to it, but that's what it's got.
It's very creamy.
Definitely.
Yeah, it pairs up so nicely.
So, okay, Trey. So, life of a sales rep.
Oh, it's interesting.
I was going to say, why don't we get into that a little bit? So how did you kind of make your way to this position with JRE? And then we can kind of
I assume you want the
go
truth
from there. Well, I mean, whatever truth.
Yeah, whatever. Give us your truth.
Yeah, whatever's your truth.
All right, so I ran several cigar lounges in the past, and I loved it. You get to see your boys every day, same players, and I love that. I like the sense of community. And everybody was always, because I was always getting these like tobacco degrees and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, so, why don't you go be a rep and make money doing this? And I was like, no, I never want to be a rep. Never. And my buddies were like, that's the dumbest thing ever. And I'm like, no, I like being with you guys every day. I just like learning about tobacco.
Yeah.
And then I met Justo. He came in the store. He went to K-State University, which was about, a less than an hour away from my store. So when the non-compete was up and Aladino was relaunching, it was one of the first places he came out was where he went to college.
Oh, okay.
And our lounge was like the first place he came to in Kansas. And I didn't know much, and being as young as I am, I know I'm starting to feel old, but I wasn't around for much of the actual Camacho days. I caught the tail end of it, and knew I didn't like it as much after Davidoff pot, and that's really all I knew. But then I met Justo, and he tells me the whole family story, and I'm still like, okay. And he's like, well, here, take some of these cigars and go back there. He was talking to the owner of the store, and I just went back and started smoking it. And they came in a little bit later and like, what do you think? And I looked at the owner, and I was like, buy everything. Everything. And he's like, he hadn't lit his up, and I'm like, don't even, just trust me.
Yeah.
Buy it all.
Yeah.
And we did, and we just started selling them like gangbusters. Everybody was just catching on. I mean, it was awesome. And over that experience, just being one of the first people to bring Justo on, we became great friends. And even there was a time I left the industry, so I didn't want to be in cigars anymore. I just want to smoke them. And even then, Justo would make a trip out to Kansas and hang out with me just because we were friends. And I'm like, you know what? Like, that means a lot to him. And I've always told him, I said, if you ever want to take the company to another level, whenever you're ready to do that, whatever it takes, if you want me on a computer in Florida, I trust you. I believe in your family. I believe in your product and how everything's done. I will come work for you in whatever capacity you want me to. And years went on, and first February rolled up last year, and he's like, I'm ready. Are you ready? And I was like, what? For real? He's like, yeah, I want you to come work for us. So he's like, get on a plane, and we're going to be there in 2 weeks. We're going to be in Honduras. And I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute. So I kind of had to tell my boss at the time, I was like, hey, so I'm going to go to Honduras in a couple weeks. And he's like, for what? And I'm like, I didn't take vacation this year. I guess I'm going to go to Honduras. He's like, why would you go to Honduras? I'm like, it's beautiful. They got the greatest reef outside the Great Barrier Reef. I just want to go. So, of course, I go out there and have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And absolutely accept the job offer and call my boss back in the States. And I'm like, so here's the deal. This is what went down. And then we fly back to Miami. And, of course, we get off the plane. And it's like, oh, this COVID thing.
Yeah.
Well, this will be interesting. All right. So my life as a rep has probably been different than a lot of people's because I started at the very beginning of COVID. And I've been balls to the wall ever since. Like, I know a lot of reps have kind of stayed home, and I totally get that and totally support that. But I told Justo I was here to increase the brand. I mean, that was my main job, get Aladino into more hands, and it's created a really nice opportunity more than anything because I'm out there. I'm hustling.
Yep. Well, that's true. I was going to say, people are seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be seeing reps from other companies, and, you know, I'm not saying it's out of sight, out of mind, but, you know, in some
let's
cases
be honest,
it is.
That's how sales works.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then tell us about being a sales rep during the COVID time. I mean, you know, obviously for a while there, I'm sure you weren't going anywhere.
It was didn't really hit the road until June. So February, March, April, May was kind of like, let's play this out and wait. And
Yeah.
June hit, and it was like,
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah,
exactly.
They kept there. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. How'd that go?
We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. I got a shirt.
Oh. So by the time June rolled around, I'm like, man, this is like peak season for us to be making sales. Like, let's just go. And there were so many places I went that, like, man, we haven't seen anybody in so long. And I'm like, well, I'm here. We have products. We're ready to rock and roll. So it created a unique opportunity. And then, you know, on top of that, like, I would go to places and they're like, we haven't seen anybody in 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're going to probably see me more than you want to because you're within an hour of me and I need places to go. So let's get to know each other. And it's been different. I mean, each town, city, municipality, the rules are different. So, I mean, I've got in my rig, I mean, I've got, I don't know, 50 masks at least at all times, different types of masks. I've got so much hand sanitizer, it's ridiculous. And, you know, you just live your life smart. Just don't be dumb.
Yeah.
And generally, things will work out. So that's been my approach. Be respectful everywhere you go, because some places are like a lot more strict and other places are the Wild West.
Yeah.
And you do have to kind of play that game. There's certain areas that I go to and you walk in with a mask on and they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to be safe, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know where I've been.
That's
I
true.
just came from 5 other states, so maybe I'm protecting you from me. And then other places, you know, if you forget, you go across the state line and you walk in without a mask. And like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm like, oh, you're right. You're right. I just got used to the rules across the river. And so that took time.
Yeah.
The first month was really me figuring out like how to be respectful everywhere I went. Because that's the last thing you want to do as a salesman. Those first few seconds.
Yeah.
That's especially the first time I've ever seen you before.
Yeah. Hey, big turnoff right off the bat. Yeah.
Yeah. So learning where I was at and how to do it was a little difficult, but it's a relationship game, and that goes for cigars in general. I'm not just talking about making sales. Just it's all relationship based.
Yeah.
Because we sit down, we smoke, we talk, we get to know each other. Relationships are everything.
I mean, you just got done talking about how a relationship is what you got, what got you the job. So I mean,
right.
yeah, exactly. So then, I assume that it's not just driving around; it's also been phone calls. So then, in terms of like, you know, have you done more phone calls maybe because of COVID? And if so, like, how is that kind of
you do
going?
More phone calls than you want to? I mean, at the end of the day, you always want face-to-face interaction. Phone calls just don't cut it. They're informative, and that's about it. And when you're a new guy like me, who the person you're calling may have only met you once, it's hard to build a relationship. So you try to figure that out day by day, but there's not a lot you can do about it. Like, you have to make tons of phone calls right now. You just have to. But it gets repetitive sometimes. But you got to keep it spicy, you know? Like, that's why I like telling stories. Like, you have a minute? Like, you got somebody else around here? Let me tell you a story about what happened. And it's just a way for me to, you know, create a rapport with somebody that I haven't had time to sit down with.
So what kind of fun stories do you have from your time as a sales rep?
From time as a sales rep.
Come on. Well, we can leave names out to protect the innocent or not so innocent, but come on.
We can go with...
There's probably been at least something that's happened in the last year.
We can just go with this trip right here. This trip wasn't supposed to happen.
That's true. You texted me this morning, like, so I'm in St. Louis.
I'm actually here. Wasn't planning on being here.
Well, it kind of worked out because, like, you know, in all fairness, we were going to have the Ask the Ex episode
where I was going to have my ex-wife on to tell stories about me, and the more I've thought about that, the less that sounds fun.
Yeah, it kind of
well, that's weird
apart.
Because I texted her and we've got a new story. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I could tell some stories.
Oh no, Nick has been privy to a few of the adventures. So
yeah,
I don't doubt that. It's part of living a good life, though.
True,
gotta have some stories.
It's part of living a life.
So I've built a history with the state of Ohio already in my young
Tell me
career.
about Ohio.
So
It's one of my favorite movie quotes from The Patriot. Anyway, I digress.
Ohio doesn't like my car at all. So 2 Ohio trips ago, I was actually with Husto, having a good time, and you know, these new cars just aren't made like they used to be.
that's true.
They're plastic.
Yes, and computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hit a curb with Husto in the car in a rainstorm, and my GPS is like, turn right into the parking lot. It's raining so hard I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, turn right in the parking lot. Turned right a little too early, hit a curb, tire blows.
Oh,
I'm like, oh my goodness, really? The tire blew? I mean, it's probably going 20, 25. Come on. But whatever, it happens. So I'm like, okay. Tell Husto, like, don't worry about it. Go to bed. Get AAA. We'll be fine. Get AAA out there. The next morning, I go to drive to the nearest place to get an actual tire. And in making that drive, it's very apparent that
Something other than your tire.
this is not just a tire issue. And at which point I learned that like $1,800 worth of damage had been done. And I'm like, how did everything break when I hit a curb? And the mechanic was just like, these new cars just aren't made like the old ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, okay. So Husto, you know, he's like, I think the weather's better in Miami. I think I'm going to go back to Miami.
Have fun in Ohio with your car repairs,
because
buddy.
of COVID, the mechanic was like, I can't tell you how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, who's told me? Like, I'll get a rental, and I'll wait this out. So, yeah, I was stranded in Cleveland for a while with that. So then I hadn't been back to Cleveland for like 6 weeks. So go to Columbus, Ohio before going on this trip in a blizzard.
Okay.
Because a couple of customers had asked me to come see them. I said, yeah, it's not too far. Blizzard.
Awesome.
Engine blows.
Oh.
In a blizzard.
Oh, my God.
Same vehicle. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There was no heat. There was no noise.
Yeah.
No nothing. And I'm like, So I call AAA. They take me 20 miles into Columbus. I'm 20 miles in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Freezing. They get me up there, and Ford's like, this engine's like destroyed, man. Like, they sent me pictures, like the camshaft was broke.
So, like,
How does that
How
happen?
do you do that?
what kind of mileage?
That was part of the issue.
Okay.
60,168 miles, which was 168 miles past the original manufacturer's warranty, which is about the mileage from Kentucky to Columbus, Ohio. So they don't want to repair it.
Yeah.
It's out, and I'm like, well, I got an extended warranty.
Yeah.
And of course, the extended warranty, people are like, well, no, this is like 100 miles over. Like, this is Ford. Like, they didn't do it. So there was this whole back and forth, and I'm like, I'm stuck in a blizzard. Like, I don't care who does this.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to rent a car because they were like, we can't tell you how long this is going to. I'm like, oh, my God. So I rent a car to come back to Kentucky, get my Mustang, because I had promised all my friends, I do a Super Bowl party in Kansas every year. And we'd set it up, everything. So I'm like, I have to get to Kansas for the Super Bowl, get my Mustang, and start driving. Meanwhile, this vicious ice storm hits, and I'm in a Mustang.
Which is
And
not
someone-
the best vehicle for that.
No.
Yeah.
So as someone who has owned 2 Mustangs in their life, they handle like a pig on the ice.
But here's the thing.
They're not graceful.
So mine, I bought it new in 2012, and here's what I'll say. That thing is built like a tank compared to the Ford I'm driving currently. The doors are 10 times heavier. It's got 130,000 miles on it, and I've driven it hard.
Yeah.
No problem. Never had an issue with it.
There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, no issue with the Mustang at all. So I'm like, I don't really trust it on the ice, but everywhere else, pretty much trust it.
Yep.
So yeah, I ended up getting stuck in Lawrence in a parking lot because, that rear-wheel drive would not get me out of the parking lot for a couple of days. And then I was like, well, you know what? Let's make the most of this trip. When it clears up, I'm going to St. Louis, and I'm going to actually meet some people in St. Louis. Let's do it.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So wait. So does that mean that your regular car is still in Ohio?
It's still in Ohio, yes.
Okay.
So I called them today, and they're like, good news, we got the engine in, we're putting the new engine in it. So I'm like, all right. The problem still exists because I'm a single man that lives not just in Kentucky. I don't live in a major city. I live in the countryside in the middle of nowhere, which is what I wanted. But now logistically, the issue is I drive the Mustang back to Kentucky, but then I have to figure out how to get from there to Cincinnati to get a rental car that'll take me to Columbus, Ohio to get my real car. And when you've moved somewhere during COVID and haven't had time to get to know anybody, no one hangs out.
You have no friends to
Literally
ask
have
for
no
help.
friends. And it's the first time in my life I've never had any friends. And I'm like, I don't know. Uber, you willing to come 35 miles outside the city? I don't know. Find out.
From my experiences with Uber, if they're getting paid, they're going to drive you there.
It's true.
But I could be wrong. We talked to, and you may not
You
remember
might want to
this.
call Broccoli Rob.
Yeah.
True.
Broccoli
He's not
will
too
hook you
far
up.
away.
I would say
from me.
he's not super far.
He's not far.
Yeah.
And Nick may remember this, but when we were in Kansas City a couple
Get
of
a
years
nice
back,
gift pack of cigars together for him. Broccoli Rob would make that
Yeah,
drive.
Broccoli will hook you up. Brock's a good guy. So we were in Kansas City a couple of years back, and we took a cab ride to a casino.
We did.
And we're talking to the cabbie, and he's explaining to us that he had actually, we're telling him from St. Louis and whatnot.
Cab ride or Uber?
I thought it was an actual cab. Maybe it was an Uber.
I'm pretty sure it was an Uber.
But he started explaining to us how he had just gotten back from a drive all the way to St. Louis. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. And somebody was in
It was a
Kansas
medical
City.
emergency.
Yeah.
And like somebody had to get home to see a sick family member or something like that. And they like priced out their airplane ticket. And it was so high that, because it was last minute, and everything, that it was actually cheaper for him to get an Uber and drive those 4 hours from Kansas City to St. Louis than it was for him to hop on a plane and fly to St. Louis.
Yeah.
So this Uber driver drove all the way.
So they will do it.
And what was it? Uber, they said that they would have to charge him for the drive out and the drive back.
I think so.
Because I mean, it's not like he's picking somebody up in St. Louis and driving back to KC.
He's got to drive back.
So he's got to drive back. So like, I think Uber dinged the guy for double the fare, but apparently it was
still cheaper than
a last minute plane ticket.
Yeah.
So if we get to storytelling later, I've got another story with a celebrity that actually pulls all of this together.
Well, before we get to that, let's do a round on our cigars here. Let's see what everybody's getting. I just lost my ash. I had a killer ash going on this thing. Got some good pictures of it too. So Nick just did a retro hail that exploded the top of his head.
little pepper.
Yeah, little pepper there, little spice, buddy. A little bit.
It tickled the. Oh, Jesus!
Isn't it fun to watch this in person?
Yeah, this is great.
Sorry. It tickled the top of my mouth. Like I've got like a tickle right on the top of my mouth.
Is that dentine gum?
Oh my God!
Dentine gum coming out there.
Oh man! It like won't go away.
Well, I'll go ahead and talk since he's near death here.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This vintage selection is just incredible, man. These are such good cigars.
Appreciate it.
I mean,
I'm a big fan.
And I've said this on the podcast, and I'm not just saying it because you guys have been gracious enough for JRE Tobacco, the Aladino Studios, to sponsor our studio here. By the way, how do you like our Top Shooter studio?
I dig it.
The mobile studio kicks ass.
This is a fun place.
Yeah, it really is.
They take good care of us here.
But I've never had an Aladino cigar that I didn't enjoy. I love the entire line. I celebrate the whole catalog.
The whole catalog.
But I'm going to do a retro hail now. So
okay.
Hang with me a second.
Oh, no, the Maduro's good. And despite the fact that it sounds like I just died, I don't know what happened there. It's like I retroed and I was going to get a little bit of a cough from it.
Don't let him kid you. It's every retro hail he ever does. That happens right there.
But my God, no, that does not happen. I'm telling you something. I had like this weird tickle in my throat and top of my mouth, and it was just like it wouldn't go away. And
it was fun to watch, though.
It was odd. I don't blame the cigar for that. I was waiting for you just
to keel off the chair and hit the ground.
No, I wasn't that bad.
No, this vintage is.
I was
just
afraid
incredible.
I might sneeze. It's like,
dude, seriously,
we've established sneezing apparently
broke a rib.
Breaks ribs.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Sneezing can be dangerous.
2 out of 3 people at this table have done that.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Which, you know what that means?
You're next.
It's inevitable.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like Thanos for you right now. No,
I'm the one that survives the snap.
See, I see what you did there. So, no, this is just an incredible cigar. And again, on the retro hail,
you're burning through it quick.
I am. I smoke fast.
You do. I was going to say, my God.
Yeah, I have a tendency to smoke fast.
You're just trying to scam another one out of Trey over here.
Damn straight. Oh, boy. No, this is such a good cigar. And on the retro hail, it's creamy, but I'm still getting a little bit of that cinnamon taste. Yeah.
Cinnamon, maybe a little cardamom.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I like all the baking spices.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah. So going back, you were talking about stories.
Yeah.
Now,
I got plenty.
You had a prior life.
I've had a few prior lives.
In a prior life.
Oh, yeah.
How would you describe that job?
I had a very interesting job out of college. I worked for Major League Baseball. And inevitably, when I say that, everybody's like, well, what team? No, I worked for the organization. They said that my official title was marketing. I was in the marketing department, which was true some days. So the way it was structured, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was legitimately working on marketing things. We even created an auction website for Major League Baseball. We did some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But then Thursday morning, I would get called into the big boy's office, and here's your client for the rest of the week, and give me my paperwork, and do your thing there, and then I would get on a plane and fly to wherever this client was, doing whether it was an autograph signing or a golf tournament or celebrity baseball game, you name it, and you never knew.
Yeah.
You just got the word the day before.
You're hanging with this guy.
Yep, and it would usually be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fly home Sunday, go back to work in the office Monday morning. So it was an intense job.
I was going to say, it's like a 7-day-a-week job.
It was nonstop, which was one reason when I finished that, I'd never wanted to be a rep because I'm like, no, I've done my travel gig. Like, I don't want to travel 50 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
But in doing that, I met some amazing people, some crazy people. You know, celebrities are the same as me and you. They just have money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've often said there's a fine line between people that are crazy and the way that you differentiate that is by the amount of money in their pocket. They're either, if they're poor, they're crazy. And if they've got money, they're eccentric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was like, what's the fine line between? You said people that are crazy, and then you just...
It took me a while to get there. I had to circle around a few times.
That's good.
I'm hurting. My rib.
What is that? Never mind.
I can't. I'm having trouble thinking.
Okay.
I can't concentrate.
I don't know.
So yeah.
Anyway.
So I met some interesting people. My first day on the job, got a phone call, right? And since I was the new guy, I get to answer the phone after 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they're not here right now. Let me take a message for you. And I took down the message. I'm like, and sir, could you tell me who's calling? Because he was kind of shocked that I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
First day. And he goes, Mr. Aaron. And I go, all right, Mr. Aaron, first name, Mr. Aaron. He goes,
Hank.
Henry. And I go, Henry. Okay. Like I was like a total like
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
You went all fanboy.
And he kind of laughed and he's like, just tell him Mr. Aaron called. And I'm like, all right, sir. And so like, R.I.P. Henry.
Indeed.
That was my first day on the job. That was like, welcome to working for Major League Baseball. But then the cool thing is the actual celebrities that you don't know you're going to work with, and one of which, this goes back to the whole taxi cab story.
Okay.
I wasn't going to say this one, but that just worked out.
But it just kind of worked out.
So I had to do a celebrity event in Half Moon Bay, San Francisco. Had a celebrity there that was on Home Improvement. Pretty major guy.
Okay.
Pretty major guy.
Okay.
That was my client.
It was Al, wasn't it?
It was not Al. I wish it would have been. That would have been awesome. Or the Tool Time lady. That would have been even better.
That would have been
I can't remember
better,
her
yeah.
name, but that would have been all right.
Pam Anderson was the first one.
Pam was on there.
But I don't
There was a
remember the
brunette
second.
after that.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. To the
Googles,
Jeff.
to the Googles.
Yeah,
To the
there you
Googles.
go.
So I'm with this former star, and he's a handful.
Okay.
And part of the situation.
Is it who I'm thinking of, or is it not?
Not the most famous.
Okay.
Debbie Dunning was the other Tool Time
She
girl.
was
There you
smoking.
go.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Smoking.
She was.
Which caused a lot of problems because wherever we went, like girls would always recognize him.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, you're Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And you're like,
No.
and then or like people would be like, no offense, but I like JTT better. And I was like, oh my God, this dude gets this legit every
All
day
the
of
time.
life.
Oh, my God.
But anyway.
Okay, so
we-
now we have
we
it narrowed
narrowed it
down
down.
two
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
boys.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so okay.
now you got an idea.
All right, so now we'll stop. Okay,
So, no, you're good.
No. As in, we'll stop trying to guess who it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So anyway, that's part of the issue is like as being like the handler or the babysitter.
Yeah.
You still have to participate. So you have to be part of the party, but you can never be like
Fully in the party.
Yeah. And
That's
was-
like me when I babysit Nick on trips.
I got drunk one time. One time. In like the whole time that we've known each other.
Yeah,
Like,
but it lives in
One
infamy.
time.
That's all it takes.
How
It's
many times have I had
legendary,
to
brother.
All it
babysit
takes.
you?
Oh, every day that you've known me.
The entire time we were out in Vegas.
Yeah,
when
it's
when
true.
you were high as a kite that whole trip.
It's legal there.
I'm just saying. Anyway.
The first time I ever tried it, we were in Vegas. I was 48 years old.
First time ever?
First time ever.
Wow.
I always said I wouldn't light up till it was legal, and we got to Vegas and it's legal. I'm like, close enough.
This is what I said I would do.
Yep.
Let's do it.
And I slept like a baby.
And he was high the entire trip. The entire
and won a shit ton of money, too.
trip.
And he was so mad at me.
Oh, God.
I'm
Like
high
the
as a kite, and I'm just
whole
winning at
trip.
Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and
Oh,
he's
my
like, what
gosh.
is wrong with you?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was a good time.
I love that.
Yeah, it was a great.
So, okay. So you're babysitting.
Yeah, so we're babysitting, and like, of course, I've had a few drinks, and he's blitzkrieged, and we're
Oh, that hurt to laugh.
so we're finishing up the night, and I'm like, all right, we got to get back to the hotel, and he's like, no, we're not going to the hotel. I'm going home, and I'm like, no, man, you're not going home. Like home is a ways away, and he's like, I just want to go home, and I'm like, no, we have things to do tomorrow. We're going to the hotel.
Yeah.
So he's like, calls a limo because can't just get a taxi. You have to have a limo. So we get the limo.
He's got that sweet home improvement money.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, let's get the limo, whatever.
Tool time.
Exactly.
And we're in the limo, and the limo driver's like asking us where we're going, and I'm trying to tell him, and no.
He's not having any part of
Superstar's
that.
not having any part of that.
Not JTT is saying somewhere else.
Not JTT.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I was
like,
saying. Not JTT.
We're going home. And I'm like, no, we're not going home. And finally, the driver's like pissed.
Where am I going?
And I'm trying to tell him, and he's like looking at me like, dude, I don't know who you are. I know who this guy is. Like, I'm going to listen to him.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And
shit.
he's drunk enough, he can't tell him where home is. So he just gives him his ID
Oh, no.
with his home address on it,
Yeah.
which is in L.A. Drove in a limo from San Francisco to L.A.
Oh.
Nothing I could do about it.
Oh, my God.
You were just along for the ride.
Along for the ride, and of course the next day, the boss is calling me like, "Where are you guys? You're
And we're
late
like,
for the event." I'm like,
We're in LA.
We're in LA." Oh, yeah. I didn't have to pay for it, thank God. I mean, because I couldn't
yeah.
have. Literally could not have.
Did you just stay at his house then?
It was awkward, and his wife was there, and I was like, "All right, well." End up like I just flew back to San Fran.
So I take it he didn't make the event.
No.
No.
Did not.
Wow.
Yeah. So that
Wow.
was just talking about expensive like rides,
Long
Yeah.
rides. Yeah.
and that was the first time. Later on in life, I would make that drive myself. That was the first time I'd ever driven from San Fran to LA.
How many hours is that?
Long, like it felt like 8 hours. I'm not
Oh,
joking.
my God.
Like it literally felt like it might be 8 hours.
Oh, my God.
It was forever. It was
Now,
a long.
okay,
drive.
I'm putting some of this on the limo driver. Why the hell would he not take you to a hotel in the town you were in, over driving you 8 hours? I mean, I guess he was a
Money.
good
Because he
costly
made a
fare.
ton
It was
of
a-
money.
and it was a ton of money.
Oh.
A ton of money.
I can't even imagine.
It was not cheap whatsoever.
Wow.
But he's got it, so whatever.
Wow.
I don't live in that universe. Like,
Yeah.
if I get drunk and make a mistake like that,
Yeah.
I'm washing dishes somewhere for the
you're
rest of my life.
brutalizing
Yeah.
yourself for what
Yeah.
you just
I'm
did. Yeah,
done.
same here.
Interesting.
So, yeah, there's stories like that, just
So what's
random things that would happen. Like, I can't believe I'm here with this person doing this, and no one's going to believe me at all.
We believe you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I can see the sincerity on your face.
There were some times I was not proud of.
Yeah. That's every day with him.
Hey. God.
Hey, don't say that. He's the whole reason I installed a seat in my shower. It's expired.
Well, see, now the last time you and I hung out,
Yeah, you wanna delve into that,
I
Nick?
educated you on the Alaskan pipeline.
That is absolutely
Yeah.
true, and I put that in my show.
and I was going to say, so you do a podcast as well.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 podcasts now. I'm moving one of them to Patreon. The other is going to be on YouTube. First one is called Dark Horse Dynasty. It's really nerd stuff for football, like people that play fantasy football year round. So it's very niche.
How do you
very
play
niche,
it year round?
just like the NFL does. So you got free agency, waiver wires. You've
Oh my
got
gosh.
trades that happen, fantasy drafts. Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to tell him what I've done.
What?
Okay. We'll get back to your story. I've got to tell you this. So I came up with this scam with
God.
the FanDuel bet. The 55-1.
Yeah.
Where you bet on one team and you have your spouse bet on the other team and you can't lose.
It's really not that much of a scam, and I'm
It's
sure
really
a lot
not a
of
scam.
And it
I'm
worked.
sure a lot of people did it.
But no, we had people, and you had people too that said that can't be true, that can't work, and it did. And you did it,
I know one person that said that.
Yeah. Well,
They assumed,
my ex,
they assumed that what you won was actual credit on
Kristen's
FanDuel,
entire
not actual
family.
cash. But it was cash.
Yeah,
I did
Kristen's entire family thought that it was bullshit, and they didn't do it. And I'm like begging them. I'm like, no, seriously, you're going to win. It was $275 that you won. And all you had to do was make a FanDuel account, put $10 in, make
Did you get
bet.
your half of that winning yet, Jeff?
It's in the mail. It's in the
See,
mail.
that's the problem. His ex-wife is the one who bet on the Buccaneers.
Oh.
Yeah, I bet on Kansas City, so I might get hosed. But I think she's gonna share anyway.
Oh, okay.
But I then, because someone, I don't know who, but thank you, whoever it was, signed up a FanDuel account off of my link that I sent out to all my friends and said, hey, do this, you're going to make money. So somebody signed up and did it. I got a $50 credit. So I went on and I put bets on next year's Super Bowl that night after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Okay.
Got you now. Now
okay.
you're in.
But that was
So,
credit.
okay.
I couldn't withdraw that. So it's free money.
Now you're invested next year, whether you wanted to or not.
Well, no. He's going to be out pretty early. So, okay. So you're into football.
Or am I?
So what 3 teams were they that you bet on there, Jeff?
Okay. So I bet on Vegas, I bet on Arizona, and I bet on the Lions.
Yeah, you're out. Yeah, you are out.
But if I'm not,
And why did you
I'm
bet
going
on-
to cash in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you got what? 40-1 odds on Arizona,
50-1
odds
and
on Las
120-1
Vegas, and 121 on the
Lions.
Lions. And he was like, dude, if Detroit wins it. And I'm like, there is no way
They
Detroit
don't even have a
wins it.
quarterback.
I told him in the last episode, I said, the only way Detroit has a prayer of seeing the Super Bowl is if 25 teams get into fiery bus accidents and they all die. I'm like, there is no way. And then they only have a prayer of getting to the Super Bowl.
You're going to be kicking your own ass next year when Detroit wins and I get all that money.
Do you know that Detroit just hired a new coach? Did you see that?
No, I don't know anything.
Okay.
I just knew it was
You should
120 to 1.
Take the time to Google the press conference because this guy's name is Dan Campbell. He's awesome. He's crazy. And this is probably going to like burn in flames. But in the press conference, because everybody's very corporate now. The NFL is very corporate.
Yeah.
Motor City, Dan Campbell gets up there and he's like, we're going to bite the kneecaps off our opponents.
Yes.
What?
I am all in for that.
What? And he said that like 4 times.
This is what I've bet on.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
so happy now.
That's what you've bet on. And
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
Oh, my
that's
God,
what
I'm
he
living
said.
large.
That's what he said.
This could happen.
All right, then.
It's got a
It's
one.
not
in-
going to happen.
It's not going to happen. They might win 3 games.
But
There you go.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance.
Yeah.
It's just not the right 3 games.
We're having you on again next year when I win the Super
That'd be
Bowl
awesome. That would be so awesome.
I'm not going to lie. If the Detroit Lions win the Super
bet.
Bowl.
I'll Uber you in from wherever your car's
Let's do
broken
it.
down
That'd
to come
be
back
fun.
to the
That
show.
would be awesome. That's done.
I mean, there goes all your winnings, but
True.
Yeah.
True. But by God, I'll have it.
I'll tell you what. We'll think of something really, really cool that I will have to do if the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl.
Well, I think any of my 3 teams that I picked. Arizona's been there before. Now, granted, they had Kurt Warner, but they've been there before. It could happen.
Yeah, I'm betting on the long shot here. I don't want to do something stupid if it's like, the 40 and 50 to 1 teams. I'm saying the 100.
You're only doing the 120. Only
Oh, yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah.
The Paper Lions, man. Did you ever see that movie?
Paper Lions.
Yeah, Alan Alda. Well, he was a new.
Does this shit.
I saw Secondhand Lions.
Well, that's a great movie
It's a
too.
great movie.
But no, Alan Alda, if I'm recalling right, I think it's Alan Alda, is a newspaper reporter for, what's the newspaper in Detroit? I can't even think of the name of it. But anyway, I digress. So he's the newspaper reporter, and I can't really think straight because of all the pain I'm in right now, but I'm going to go ahead and tell the story anyway. So he ends up getting a slot on the team, and he's writing like this book or the story or whatever from inside the team, and ends up getting to play it down for the Detroit Lions in this movie.
They might do better with the newspaper guys
Yeah, it's-
coming
yeah.
out on the field.
They might
than
be better off.
Yeah.
I think he ends up running into the goalpost and knocking himself out. But it is an incredible
sounds like the
movie from
Lions.
like the late 70s, 80s, early 80s, somewhere
I'll
in there.
check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
So anyway, so that's your one pocket. Is that the one that's moving to Patreon?
Yeah, I'm moving that because it's so niche that's like that should be. I'm tired of giving that away for free. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're giving away fantasy football advice.
Yeah, so on that one, we got like subscribers in 36 countries now. So there's enough there that I'm like, all right, I've proven myself. Let's go ahead and go to Patreon. That is a real movie.
It is a real movie. Anyway, he was number 17.
And then the other hasn't launched yet. I've been working all month on getting it together, but it's going to be called. It's going to be Fantasy 2, but it's going to be more just fun. And I'm going to put it on YouTube as well. It's called Fantasy AF.
Okay.
So fantasy as fuck.
What is the? I think everyone knew, but thanks for clarifying.
Always and forever is what I tell my
always
parents.
and forever.
I mean, it could have been Arturo Fuente.
There you go.
But not.
But it wasn't.
No, but not. So what will be the topic on that podcast?
That one's going to be more, if you ever watch the Pat McAfee show, it's informative, but he's also like a little crazy. And I'm generally nuts anyway. So that one's going to be more me. I've got a character. I've already bought everything I'm going to wear. I know it's disturbing, but there's going to be cowbells involved.
I got to have more cowbell.
You got to have more cowbell.
I mean,
so yeah, it's just going to be like me going crazy on whatever's football related that day.
Oh, so it's still football.
It's going to be football related.
Centric, okay.
And it's going to be a way for me to like just generate a little bit of fun and be like, now if you want the real info, if you want the weeds, pay for that over here.
So it's a teaser for
it's really just a teaser.
I like that.
Yeah.
You'll have to have me on when I win the Lions bet.
I'm totally down. We'll do something.
there we go.
And I
This guy that knows nothing about football, but he had some money to burn. So
each week I do a betting segment that's like 20 minutes long for football betting. So maybe that'll help you next year.
Okay, I'll have to tune in.
We made a lot of money because I make my own personal bets and I put them out there and then keep track of that throughout the year. We did really well last year.
So speaking of that, did the Super Bowl go the way you thought it was going to go?
Oh, it was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Chiefs fan. So first time Patrick Mahomes has never thrown a touchdown pass.
Well, they had some statistic on how many yards he ran.
470 something.
Yeah, just trying to make passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, his pocket kept collapsing.
I knew it was going to be bad because your starting two tackles are gone.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to be bad.
Were they out for COVID? Is that what it was?
No. Our best player, Eric Fisher, he tore his Achilles in the game prior. And Mitchell Schwartz, our all-pro right tackle, he's been out for half the season. So we were already in a pinch. And then our starting guard is a doctor. And when COVID hit, he decided to go be a doctor to take care of COVID patients. So he's the only doctor in the league that he's legit.
I had no idea.
Got a legit MD.
God, I should pay more attention to things.
So, yeah, we had 3 starting linemen that were not playing in the Super Bowl, and I was like, we'll see how this goes. I didn't think he would go the way it did. I thought it would be a close game, and no, it was absolutely atrocious.
Well, you guys were also playing against the referees.
I'm glad you said that. As a Chiefs fan, I had to wait until somebody else said it.
Did you see the meme of the referee shirt? It said, we used to think this was a Patriot jersey, but now we realize.
Yeah.
TB12.
Yep.
But I mean, I still got my Zippo here from the real Super Bowl.
I see that.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs Super Bowl champion.
We won a bet actually on the back of the Chiefs last year. Bryant from Cigar Talk, he's big San Francisco fan.
Yeah,
and so we bet him that we bet him that he would have to smoke. What was it?
It was a Backwoods. Backwoods honey
on his show, and then he
review it. Please tell me he reviewed it.
Well, he did a video. He kind of chinced out on the thing, but we got him back. So and then he bet us that we had to smoke. What was it? A Black and Mild on our show, and we won. And so he did a video that he put up on Instagram where he's smoking this thing in his car, and he's just kind of ragging on it. And
we wouldn't let that stand.
We didn't let that stand because that wasn't the bet. So when Bryant came to town and we had him on the show and we're sitting over there at Riverman, we got done with the one cigar and we're like, hey, we got a second cigar here and we're gonna light this up. And we got it out, and sure enough, we had him smoke the Backwoods honey there on our show. So, yep.
Now I won't lie, I've smoked the Backwoods every once in a while.
I do.
But
Nick knows I'm not proud. I'll pretty much smoke anything.
Let's be real, Jeff. That's when they write your biography, the title of it is "I'm not proud."
I'm not proud.
The Jeff Egbert story.
That'll be the headline on my obit. He wasn't proud.
Put there on your tombstone.
Yeah,
I'm not proud.
Oh my gosh. This is fun. I'm really glad you guys brought me here. This is a new place for me, and I'm digging it because...
Now, I want to point out, the Top Shooters, it's a great place. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
They're really good. They let us record. We can come out here on the patio, and we're
cigars and
distant
everything.
enough from the doors that we can smoke and all that. And they're very accommodating to us. And they have all these TVs on right now. And I'm looking over here at this guy dressed in all green playing golf. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you have a golf story.
Oh, I don't know if we can go into that one on the show.
I do have a golf story. I do.
Can you tell that on the show?
I can tell a version of it. It'll be truthful. It'll be a truthful version.
We'll change the names to protect the innocent.
Okay.
Or the guilty in this case.
All right. All right. So
Are you up for this story?
Yeah, I'm up for
I
it.
love
I'm game.
people on the spot.
No, playing golf with a couple of major league baseball players, both retired. One, his name rhymes with Ron Jocker, and we'll just call him Ron for now.
Call him Ron.
Call him Ron, and I think it was Days of Our Lives or All My Children. Some guy from a soap opera that
Some actor.
nobody knew. And
Okay.
we're golfing, and it's 14th hole. Mr. Ron was definitely in his own universe, and everybody kind of knew that. He's like a little different, very intense, very good golf player. But he squatted down on the 14th hole to line up his ball, and his pants ripped, and big old giant wad of testicles just fell out. And I mean, these things were like, I guess that's what you call the major leagues. That's the major leagues right there. And I'm looking at this other ball player, and he's looking at me, and Ron is just minding his own business with his things just hanging out.
Still just lining up the putt.
And not – he had to have known, but acted like it was just another day in the ballpark, and we don't know what to do. He ends up standing up and making his putt, and none of us said anything because we're scared to death of him. And we went on to the next hole and the next hole, and it happened every time. Get to the green, and the junk would drop out the trunk, and we were like, oh, we're coming up on the clubhouse here. Like, he's got to know, and we're all too scared to tell him because he's got to know, and we're like, we can't do that at the clubhouse. He did.
Oh, my
18th.
God.
Nobody said anything. Walked into the clubhouse, had a couple of drinks, bullshit with the guys. Nobody had the balls to tell him about his balls.
Was there
Not once.
Was there
How
no
many people
underwear?
were there?
It was a celebrity tournament, so
So there were tons of people
there's
there.
plenty of people there.
But was there no
Now,
underwear? There
None.
was nothing.
There were zero. Obviously, there were zero.
There was no-
underwear because it
Okay.
all came a plopping
Just-
out. Yeah, yeah, and it was
that had to be an awkward
you know
ride
what?
on the golf cart.
I didn't. Me and the other ball player were on the one golf cart. We put the
Soap opera.
The soap
guy.
opera guy.
guy on, and I'm like, "You deal with him, buddy. We're not gonna do this."
I'm sure he was grateful for that.
Oh man, he was one of my childhood heroes, so it made it even that much more awkward.
Oh, my
But then at the
God.
same time, I found myself thinking, like, this guy's like legit nuts, no pun intended. But then at the same time, like, I was like, you know what? If I had that, I might do the same thing just for the shits and giggles. This nuts. That's what happened.
Yep.
Now, I wish I could say that in my time with Major League Baseball, that was the only male genitalia that I saw at work, but that would be far from the truth. We had plenty of issues that involved Johnson's. So,
Okay.
See, it's a different world, I guess.
very different world.
Yeah.
Now, here's the good thing. That would have been, you're looking at, this is over 10 years ago, and I had a BlackBerry World phone, and that was like King Kong of that day. Everybody at MLB had to have these BlackBerry World phones, and that was like the pimp daddy phone of that time. If the shit happened when I worked there, what happened today, where everybody has
iPhones.
I
With,
could
like,
not imagine
the
my
cameras.
job.
Yeah.
I could not imagine going through some of that stuff.
But somebody out there has your job and is doing the same job and dealing with probably very similar stuff.
Only on another level.
Only dealing with iPhones.
Much closer level. Because for me, like when something would happen, you'd end up getting a call from the league being like, hey, something's been reported to the media. They're leaking this out or whatever. So then you go on radio stations starting at like 5 a.m. telling your side of the story. Like that not happening with my
Working the damage control.
Yeah. And that's just what the league does for its players. And some might say they take that too far, but you also have to protect the shield, right? I mean, I get that. Protect the brand, but it's an awkward position when you're a youngster. And there's actually a documentary that came out. A lot of my friends didn't believe the job I had, but documentary came out a couple years ago that did expose what was going on with the league.
How do you even get that job?
So for me, is kind of I'm kind of dirty how I got it. So when I was graduating college, like I already had a couple degrees, and my advisor was like, you're like 6 hours away from having like a degree in sports management as well. And I was like, I wasn't even trying to do what?
Yeah.
I was like, just 2 classes? Like, yeah.
Why not?
I'll do it. So then I was like, well, maybe there's something I can do with it. So immediately upon that, I decided to become president of the sport management club. So we did some cool stuff, but the main thing, I was just trying to get everybody internships. And one internship came in through my email, and it was for Major League Baseball, not just the club, not just that. I was like, might not tell everybody about
you're
this
like,
one.
I'll pocket that one for myself.
A little Bogarting went on.
Yeah, that's actually what happened. And I applied without telling anybody else and got interviewed and got the internship, and then they hired me from there. And that's literally how it happened. It was like I was never going to do anything with professional sports, and then it just in one semester, just everything changed. And
It clicked.
yeah, literally clicked.
Neat.
That is really cool.
So it was fun for a while, and everybody thought I had like the coolest job on earth. And so when I quit,
It had to be exhausting.
Everybody was like, I can't believe you quit that job. That had to be like the coolest job ever. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
it was brutal.
You're like, it might have been cool, but it also was the worst job.
Yeah, it was in a lot of ways. Like, and there were so many times, like, I guess I'm a little more freewheeling now, but back then, like, I'd signed so much paperwork saying I would never say anything or write a book about anything that happened. And when I first got there and I started signing all these NDAs, like, I thought, like, what? I'm sitting in the office. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
No. Found out pretty quick.
Then you went out and
Yeah. Oh,
This is why.
This is why. Okay.
awesome. Well,
Well, let's take another round on the cigars real quick. I full disclosure, I was down to the nub on mine, on my vintage.
Yes.
And I didn't want to put it down. I mean, I finally had to. I was burning my fingers, but man, is it good. The Aladino vintage is just an incredible cigar.
The one thing about the vintage I think is interesting, and age has a lot to do with it, but it mellows out to a point to where there's really no changes that happen to the cigar. It's the creamy all the way to the end,
which is what I like. So it was perfect for me.
It's a nice smoke.
It's like you've listened to the show and knew what cigar to give me.
Lord. I've been enjoying the Maduro. This has
I
been
bet
really
you
good.
have. Yeah,
I did just do another retro hail.
you didn't
I
go
didn't
nuts.
cough.
Yeah.
I did feel the tickle though. So like it I don't
Is
know.
it spicy? Is it peppery? What do you get?
A little
on that?
bit, yeah. It's got that Corojo spice to
You
it.
really have to
and
do the
everything.
retro to get the spice.
You do.
I mean,
yeah. When you're smoking it, you don't really get the full spice with the Maduro.
So we've got 2 Maduros that are basically, for all intents and purposes, it's the exact same blend.
Okay.
The other one's in the Rancho Luna line.
Yeah.
Which is it's really just younger tobacco. And a lot of Maduro smokers, they're going for that big, they want a big bolt. They think Maduro means big bolt, which it doesn't. First off, it doesn't mean that at all. But the Rancho Luna is a younger version where it does have that little bit of a twinge to it. Same thing, whereas when you smoke this, it's like Baker's chocolate, smooth, a little bit of earthiness, and that's kind of it. It's a well-aged cigar before. That's another one. Like, it's got age on it before it hits the market as well.
Now, you mentioned that, like with this vintage, we're going to get some different sizes, different vitolas, as it were. And so I guess, do you notice when you smoke a cigar, like whether it's a Toro or whatever it might be, does that change the blend up enough that it really changes the taste of the cigar?
I think it changes it tons.
Do you?
Yeah, greatly. Like take our Cameroon that's out on the market. It's done really well for us this past year. Got on a lot of lists. We've got that in a Lonsdale, right? Mm-hmm. And in the Lonsdale, you're getting the majority of the Cameroon, the actual wrapper.
And the Lonsdale's the one, for full disclosure, that's the one I usually get.
That's my go-to as well. I like smaller ring gauges. But the Lonsdale, since you're getting more of that Cameroon, less of the Corojo in the filler, it's a much sweeter tasting cigar than you go to the Super Toro that's packed full of the Corojo, and that one carries more spice.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, like, you're going to like our Cameroon, but do you want more sweet or do you want more spice? And that should tell you which size to smoke, because to me, two totally different cigars almost.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does. Well, and it's like the number 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that one, it's like, it seems like such a little powerhouse versus the other sizes of the,
for sure,
the Corojo Reserva.
And that's one thing I tell people all the time. A lot of people don't smoke Lanceros. Doesn't, whether it's because it doesn't look manly or whatever, and like BS. If you like the flavor of any cigar you smoke, try that exact same cigar in a smaller ring gauge. Go a smaller size down. You're going to get that same flavor that you just said you liked, amplified. And if you really want the king of the king, then go for the Lancero, in my opinion. Like that's
do they make a Lancero in the Cameroon?
The Lonsdale.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Now we're toying with bringing it out in a Lancero.
Okay.
This Vintage Habano will be out in a Lancero, and it carries way more pepper kick to it.
Okay.
Once it's in that Lancero version. But yeah, and then we've got this Maduro is in a Lancero, and then the Corojo also is in a Lancero.
Now speaking of I don't want to even call it a budget cigar. The Tatiscan.
Yeah.
Okay. That thing is just incredible. It won our Battle of the Budgets a couple of weeks back. And by the way, shout out to the fine people at Tatiscan. Have you ever been there? Because I'm telling you, these are salt of the earth people.
They're definitely salt of the earth people. The great people of Tatiscan.
Exactly.
A great region of this world that many forgot even existed.
Right?
It's kind of like Atlantis, only this one we know is as real as it
Dude,
gets.
I spent 6 weeks there, and I've never ran into more down to the earth warrior people, the Tatiscanis, yes. So that being said, I actually, after the Battle of the Budgets that night, we were at Riverbend over here in Crestwood, Missouri, and I went in and bought Dan out of the I think it was the Churchill.
Yeah, I think you bought him out of the Churchill.
And that is such a good cigar, and for the price point, how do you ever beat that cigar?
It's awesome. It's interesting. COVID's really helped that out, because what do we find? People sat at home and smoked a lot more.
Yes. And as referenced by the two guys you're sitting here with. Yeah, we've ramped up a lot.
So as COVID just continued to go on, more and more people started going to more budget-friendly cigars, and that thing just took off the second half of this year.
Yeah.
Which has been great, because I always tell people all the time, I'm like, you got to try our Tatiscan. You got to try our Tatiscan. Our Yellow Series, and a lot of stores are like, we don't really sell, bundle type cigars here.
They're nuts.
And I'm like, okay, then sit down and smoke it with me.
Yeah.
Let's just smoke it. And they're like, well, I want to smoke the Reserva. And I'm like, no. We know the Reserva is good.
Yep.
Smoke this with me. And every store I go to, they end up buying it because they're like, holy cow. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that our mutual friend Dan over at Riverman has done. Give him another plug here real quick. But he has really cultivated those budget bundles.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's got some great ones in there. But, yeah, the top of the list for me is that Tatiscan Yellow.
I agree.
And I would say, of all the places I've been to, Dan probably has as good a selection on bundles as any store that I've been to.
Amen.
I mean, he carries the good ones, too. I mean, he didn't carry any...
Let's be real. There's a lot of stores that you go into, and if they have any, they maybe have some Quorum sitting there.
And they're shoved in the corner, kind of hidden away.
And no disrespect to Quorum, but, I mean, it's one well-known budget brand, but everybody's making them, and you just got to pull them out of people sometimes, So,
and I'll tell you, if there's somebody out there that wants to cut their dollar cost average for smoking, and they haven't tried the Tatiscan Yellow Series, they need to go out and do that tomorrow.
Absolutely.
definitely.
I appreciate you guys doing that, and following the whole thing was really fun. The whole tournament was just a cool idea.
And I'm not going to lie to you. We had no idea going into it where it was going to take us. And there were some cigars in there that I thought were going to be at the top of the list that weren't when we sat down and smoked them along the other cigars.
Yeah.
And, they were some big names, and, nothing against them. They were all good cigars. Every one of the cigars in the whole Sweat 16, I would go back and smoke because, I like to smoke a cheaper cigar because I do a lot of smoking when I drive.
Sure.
And, I'm not necessarily getting to sit and enjoy the cigar, but I like to do something when I'm driving. It kind of keeps me, in the game because I get bored when I drive. And all of those cigars were good, but man, the Tatiscan Yellow just stood out.
I appreciate you guys saying that. I mean, I really do. I'm always going to be biased, but what I loved most about you guys doing that is, in the bourbon world, the whiskey world, all these shows, they do this. Like, let's go through budget bourbons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anybody doing this in the cigar industry.
Yeah.
And
Everybody's always wanting to smoke what's new and what's
Yeah.
hot or,
Yep.
whatever. And it's always these $10, $12 sticks. And it's like, guys, there's some good stuff in the budget realm as well.
Well, and we started off that whole battle of the budgets. It was kind of on a whim because we lost a guest and we're like, hey, what are we going to do? Oh, we've been kicking this around. Let's just do it. We started that, and people have followed that battle of the budgets. Like, you can tell in the numbers from our podcast, people are tuning in to hear that.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, your stick came out there on top. So
Appreciate it.
Well, why don't we go ahead and move into our Friday segments here, Jeff? So we can.
Okay, then.
We're gonna first talk about 3 cigars that we smoked and enjoyed this week. So, have you got 3 that you want to throw in, or
I got one off the top of my head right now. I've got 2 that I'm in love with, to be honestly.
Okay.
If you want me to go ahead and
you
start.
can shameless plug if you want. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
feel
want to
free.
go ahead and start.
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a cigar lover. Everybody,
Okay.
when you become a rep, do you only smoke your brand? Like,
Well, no.
because I love cigars. And number one, like, why wouldn't you want to know the competition?
Exactly.
Who's
Find
going
out what
on?
everybody else is doing. Yeah.
So I thought this cigar was going to be a gimmick at first. I shouldn't have thought that. But the more I've smoked it, the more I've come to love it. And that's the Superfly by Oscar.
Really?
I love Superfly.
Original purple or
The purple.
not the-
Although the Connecticut is
The pink Connecticut.
a really
Yeah.
good Connecticut.
It is.
It
Yeah.
legit is. I don't know why I thought it was a gimmick, probably the presentation, because
Okay.
Oscar does a lot of good stuff.
yeah.
I enjoy a lot of different Oscar cigars, but that Superfly, it was different. There's nothing else I can compare it to.
Okay.
And for me, somebody that smokes stuff all the time, like I can usually I can compare this to that, and it's got a little bit more of this. But Superfly was fun for somebody that smokes all the time to be like, that's unique flavor. And whether or not you love that unique flavor or hate it, I respect it because I'm like, it's just different. It changes up my palate. I pick up different things on that, and I thought it was really fun. The other one that I think it got some press, but I don't think it got enough this year, the La Aurora 107 Nicaragua.
Oh, yeah.
Is phenomenal.
I had one of those that came in the Cigar Authority care package, and that's the only time because nobody around here carries that.
I've not smoked that cigar.
But man, it was a good stick.
It's another one that even when you smell it, it's got that real thick barnyard aroma.
Yeah.
And it tastes kind of like, the Cubans from like 10 years ago. It didn't change flavor. There was nothing crazy complex about it. It was like a barnyard from beginning to end, and I just absolutely loved it. It took me a long time to give it a shot. It was one of my clients actually was like, have you smoked this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't. And they're like, you should. And no lie, loved it. Loved every second of it. But I tend to look for that. Like, there's stuff I smoke that are like, okay, that's on another level. Like, quality when you smoke it, right? But I always look for the little gems that give me something that no one else is giving.
So speaking of La Aurora, have you had the Carl Malone?
I have not had it.
You should look that one up. That's
I'll
a
do
good
it.
stick. That's a good
I'll do
stick. I liked it. I mean, I smoked it and I was kind of like thinking same thing, kind of gimmick, like thinking, they're selling this on the Carl Malone name, not so, maybe it's not. It was a good cigar.
Yeah.
So
if we got to do 3,
Yep,
yeah,
you got one more.
So you got one more.
the other one I really liked that a client convinced me to try was the Henry Clay Warhawk.
Oh, okay,
And-
okay. I'm a big Warhawk guy.
Uh-huh.
So do you like
Me, not so much.
the regular Warhawk, or was this the limited edition Rebellious?
No, this is regular. I
Okay.
haven't had the Rebellious.
Oh, okay.
Is it cranked up a notch?
Oh, dude, it's like lightened.
Really?
It's so good.
Because I loved the one I had. I thought it was fantastic.
I like the Warhawk. I mean, I'll smoke the Warhawk anytime. That Rebellious, it was limited to, I think, like, was it 1,000 boxes?
Yeah.
It was a limited run. And there was a shop here in St. Louis that got 4 boxes. And I think I bought 2 of their boxes, and then I individually purchased the cigars out of a third.
Wow.
So, like, I mean, I smoked the hell out of that thing, dude. And it's like, it was the Warhawk just ramped up. I mean, it was spice and flavor and just, it was good.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
I got to do it then.
I still have a box of those at home. Next time you're rolling through town, I'll have to crack that open and get you one, because it's well worth the experience.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in with my 3.
Okay.
And one that I'm going to mention, and I hate to say this, I smoked my last one, but the Yagua.
Yeah.
I just had my last Yagua that I had. You've got a couple left in your humidor,
I've
don't
got
you?
5 sitting in my
I'm going to have
right
to
now.
do some wheeling and dealing and get a couple of those off of you. But you mentioned the Barnyard, and it reminded me of that. That when you do the cold draw and the cold retrohale on that, the minute I tried that cigar, it took me right back to a hayride in 4-H.
Yeah.
You know, it had that flavor of the straw.
Love it.
And everybody talks about how smells will take you back to your childhood and different things. And that cigar did that. And, one thing that I always reference is we have a festival in Pinckneyville, Illinois, which is where my newspaper is. And it's called the American Thresherman Association. And every year they get together and it's this big tractor show. And I mean, like, there's 700 tractors at this thing, and old steam engines. And those steam engines fire up coal. And when they're burning that coal and you go out there and you smell that, it takes me back to my childhood, because I grew up in a farmhouse. We talked about, we both grew up on farms, and we had a coal furnace that we would burn, coal in. And it reminds me of waking up as a kid on the farm and Dad going down and stoking the furnace, and you get that smell of that burning coal kind of gets, permeates the house. And it always takes me back to that. So I love things like that, like the Yagua, that take me back to my childhood and remind me of something. The other cigar that I want to mention, actually I got 2 more, the El Centurion. It's the one with the big C on it.
Yeah.
I think that's a My Father.
My father. Yeah, it's my father.
And I smoked that here the other day with you.
Okay.
It's an incredible cigar.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Nick knows I forget, so I have to take pictures of my cigars when
Well, I've got
smoking
my
them.
Instagram up and ready to remember.
there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that started as their event cigar.
Oh, was it?
And I believe so.
Yep. And then I'm going to give you a shameless plug here, because this vintage, I'm going to mention it again. It was incredible, and that's my 3rd cigar for the week that I want to talk about. And I know we sat here and smoked it tonight, but man, is it good.
It's awesome.
On to you, Nicholas.
So my first one is the My Father Fonseca. I'm loving the new Fonseca. I mean, I really liked it back when it was a Casada cigar. Mm-hmm. And, dude, I mean, I've been the new Fonseca, it's that good mix of earthiness and spice and whatnot. And, man, it's just a really good cigar. And, again, what I've been out in the ice tent quite a bit, and so what I like to do is take that cedar off the end of it and light that in my ashtray to get that cedar smell in the ice tent and everything. Dude, it's just perfect.
Yep.
So I've been
We
really
tried
liking
that here on the patio at Top Shooters, and it just didn't have the same effect. We weren't enclosed. Yeah,
It's a little too open, but yeah. So, and then my next one is the it's the Herrera Esteli, the Maduro.
Ooh, you can really taste the Esteli.
Yeah. So I God. Jeff likes to taste the Esteli. So, anyway, so yeah, no, I really enjoyed that one. That one was actually a deep dive into one of my Tupper doors. I was just looking for something different, and I had that left over from the cigars that I got at the Kentucky Barn Smoker in 2019.
Wow.
So this thing been chilling out for year.
Nick was down there hanging out in the
over a
rave
year and a half.
tent. He had a great time.
Oh yeah, the acid rave tent at the tobacco farm.
I'm sure that's interesting.
He lost his wallet. It's a whole thing.
Oh yeah, I can tell you that story. But anyway.
And Dirty Fabian had your wallet, didn't he?
Yeah, he found it and gave it to the Cigars for Warriors guys. Anyway, so. And then the last one that I smoked, and honestly, this is going to be one that people are going to maybe be a little like, really? I was talking to Dan, and we got on the subject of, the progression of cigars. Like, when you start smoking, you start with typically something light, and then somewhere along the way, you might try a heavier cigar, and you kind of realize, hey, I'm into more of the bold, you
branch out a little.
Branch out, exactly. And so I was kind of going through that progression with him, and I was telling him how, the first cigar I had was a Monte Cristo White series, and then from there, I had another one, and it just didn't taste the same as the one that you and I got out in Vegas. And so I'm like, I branched out, and the next cigar that I smoked like a chimney for quite some time is one that I revisited the other day, and it was the Romeo y Julieta, the Reserva Real.
Reserva, yep.
The straight up red band, the one that everybody freaking knows, but everybody kind of like overlooks it because they're moving on to something else. I mean, I've been smoking the Nicaragua, the blue one, a lot, and it's really good. But man, it was kind of nice to revisit that old school red band, Romeo. So
there you go.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cigars, why don't we hear from Army and Broccoli Rob for Final Third Friday?
It's time for Final Third Friday with my man Broccoli Rob.
Can you smell what the Brock is smoking? Hey, parishioners of the pulpit. This is your man Brock, and today I am smoking the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder for the Final Third Friday Cigar of the Week. Southern Draw is a veteran-owned and run business making some incredible blends for the cigar connoisseur. The Jacob's Ladder is a full-strength, full-body cigar made in Nicaragua, utilizing a USA broadleaf wrapper, USA Maduro binder, and fillers of Nicaraguan Ligero from Jalapa and Esteli. I use the deep V cutter on the solid triple cap, and am smoking the Toro for this review. This cigar scores a perfect rating in appearance and construction, as well as smoking characteristics. Incredible construction on this cigar makes for a perfect smoking experience. A dark, oily, and toothy wrapper completes this beautiful presentation. The cold draw has notes of dark chocolate, pepper, and hay. Easy light up with a nice closed foot creates a solid blast of flavor at light up. Perfect draw and tons of smoke. Solid ash falls in large chunks as well. Getting into the flavor notes, the first third has dark leather, earth, dark chocolate, cedar, caramel, and black pepper lingering on the palate and through the retrohale. The second third continues with rich leather, earth, cedar, with an addition of coffee and dried fruit notes. Black pepper lingers on the palate and consistent through the retrohale. The final third has notes of coffee, leather, cedar, earth, with an addition of baking spices and an orange zest. Black pepper still lingers and is strong on the retrohale. The Jacob's Ladder is a super complex cigar for the not so faint of heart. This is a full body cigar that offers up great transitions and so many flavor notes it will keep you guessing as to what you are tasting next. This cigar had a razor sharp burn line with no touch-ups throughout the cigar. Solid gray ash held on in thirds and only fell when I actually ashed it myself. I gave the Jacob's Ladder a final third cigar rating of 94. This cigar pairs well with a morning coffee or a neat pour of scotch or bourbon. The orange notes pair well with a higher proof citrusy whiskey in my opinion as well. At the Smoke Pit, we offer the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder Toro for $11.99 each, and always have plenty of Southern Draw cigars on hand for your enjoyment. The Smoke Pit, located at 221 West Main Street in downtown Greenwood, Indiana, is an all-inclusive cigar lounge offering a wide range of boutique cigar brands along with many heritage brands, bringing you one of the most unique selections in central Indiana at a fair price. Come in today and enjoy our comfortable lounge over a cigar and a great conversation with others who love the cigar culture. You can follow me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar And also check out FinalThirdCigar.com for full reviews of cigars and other cigar-related content. Have a great week, and remember to relax, stay smoky, and enjoy each cigar you smoke down to the Brock. Until next time, can you smell it?
Well, that was awesome.
I love listening to Brock.
Broccoli does a good job with his reviews. And guys, you can check out more of his reviews over at FinalThirdCigar.com.
I dig it.
So now, Nick, I want to point out, normally on a Friday show, we do a selection from the My Monthly Cigars box.
Yeah,
we moved that back since we had a guest in studio today.
Yep.
By the way, let me mention, in the JRE Tobacco Aladino mobile studio.
Studios.
So we'll be smoking that on Tuesday. But tell everybody, remind them, what is MyMonthlyCigars.com?
My Monthly Cigars is a premium cigar subscription service where you can get a box of cigars sent to your door every month. Come in a variety of sizes. We get the Robusto box, which is 4 cigars for $30. They also have the El Presidente, which is 8 cigars for $50, and it's 2 of everything that's in the Robusto box. So it's good to share or,
Hoard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then both of those are covered by their MSRP guarantee, which states that the value of the cigars within the box is guaranteed to meet or exceed the price of the box. And if you use offer code PULPIT,
PULPIT.
that gets you free shipping on the first box, as well as 20% off any of the items in their online store, because Nick has an online store with cigars and accessories and all kinds of other fun stuff over there at MyMonthlyCigars.com.
I noticed our buddy Cigar Eyes from Instagram is doing some stuff with My Monthly as well, but use our code first.
Well, yeah.
But then you can use hers.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's not a bad follow.
No,
No.
not at all.
There you go.
Yeah. So I guess you want me to ask you how people reach out to us on the socials now?
We're on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit, as well as at Naked Gator.
He loves the transitions.
NEKKID Gator.
That's my page.
We're also on Facebook, where we have the new Cigar Pulpit Parishioners group. So get in on that. We're sharing the
That thing
love.
is taken off.
It's
and
been
that was
nice.
your idea, and I've got to give you credit. It's really going over well.
Actually, I'm going to not take the credit for that idea. That credit goes to Trent, who was on our show for the Battle of the Budgets
I love
finals.
Trent.
And Trent suggested that I do that, and I said, why not? And so that's all Trent.
Well, there you go.
So, but it's a good opportunity for the parishioners to fellowship and get to know each other.
I just knew I had nothing to do with it. So
No, in fact, you took like well over a day to even join up, even though I sent you the invite right when I
was
created
busy.
it. Really?
Well, ish.
You troll Facebook all the time.
Ish. I'm trolling Instagram more than Facebook now. I'm really kind of over Facebook.
Okay.
I hate to, say that. Well, actually, I don't hate to say that.
I get it.
I'm tired of all my data being stolen. But now that we have Apple products, that's going to go away. Yeah, good luck stealing our identity now.
We're also on Twitter, YouTube, and you can reach out to us through cigarpulpit.com. And make sure you get your questions into us for the Ask the Boys segment by calling the Ask the Boys hotline at area code 863-874-0000. Ask us anything, guys. It doesn't have to be cigar related. It can be whatever.
We had some janky questions this last time.
We did.
Yeah, they were out there.
They were interesting.
Like one we actually both kind of recoiled from and oh God.
Yeah, it was a game of what was it? It was
Screw, Marry, or Kill.
Oh, I love it.
yeah, but it was Nick Perdomo, Rocky Patel, and Jonathan Drew.
Yeah.
I'm totally in. Awesome. That is awesome.
We kind of dodged that.
We
question.
danced around that one pretty
Because
hard.
I'll be honest, I don't want to screw, marry, or kill any of those guys.
I love it.
So
Anyway,
what's the status on MySpace?
it's still down.
Still
Jeff.
down? Okay.
Still
Still
down.
down now.
Still gone.
After all these years.
Still
all
gone.
these years. What's was it? Your
gone.
five songs or what was that? I don't even know how
You
it
had
works.
your top friends.
Yeah, it was.
You
It
knew where you stood.
was your top
with your
friend.
True.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
I miss those days. I was actually never on it.
you don't have 5 friends.
No, that's valid. Nick's one of the top 2 or 3, and that's barely.
What the
We
hell?
have more of a frenemy relationship going on
What
at
the
most
hell?
times.
Frenemy.
Anyway,
So, what else do we have?
that's the business.
So we're done now.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an awkward ending transition.
I love
there,
awkward
Jeff.
pauses.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
can you see how good of a co-host he
It's
is?
awesome, man.
I mean, the transitions, seamless.
It's
You
like,
know?
It's like usually it's like you can determine which one's the straight guy and which one isn't. No, I can't. You guys are just both on your own level here.
See, and this would have been a good opportunity, Jeff, for us to do our thing where we both have, competing conversations.
Okay, this is something that has evolved over time with our friendship, and it will be in like a social setting, and we'll just start having a conversation on our own, but we both have a conversation on our own about different topics.
Yeah.
And people's heads
And what's
will
funny
like
is
explode.
I'll pay attention to what he's saying, and he'll pay attention to what I'm saying, but we totally are having the conversation. It's a one-sided conversation, and somebody will be like, "What are you guys?" And we're like, "Oh, whatever."
It's kind of our thing. Yeah. This would be a good time to do it, although we're not.
Yeah. Now we're done.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So
we
Trey,
we did our socials. How do people reach out to
I
you?
was just about to say, how do people follow you?
So anything you want to learn about the company, JRETobacco.com, you can learn about the company's history, which is my favorite thing to tell, which we didn't really get into here today. But I love going over the company history. So if you're interested, JRETobacco.com can explain a lot of that to you. If you want to follow my shenanigans on the road, Trey Mac Aladino, that's the Insta. That's where I put the pictures of things, and had a show that I insted because we got shut down with the fire department because they got a call. Things were not good.
Smoke was showing at the event.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, there was 2 fire trucks, and they shut us down. And that's all on Instagram. And I'm in a wig, and it just was a weird time to have all that happen. So you never know what's going to
We need to party with you more often.
It was fun. It was a fun event.
Good times.
Well, that's awesome.
Now, I shamelessly, when Husto was on the show with us, and we were announcing, that you guys were going to be sponsoring the mobile studio, I threw out a plug and said, one caveat we have for this agreement is we have to go down to the farm.
I love that.
Yes, and I want to do that in the worst way, so you got to help us make that happen.
So if we make that happen, and we will make that happen.
Okay.
Got to get Julio on the show.
I want
absolutely.
that. I want that in the worst possible
That
way.
would be amazing.
Yep.
And to do a podcast
And see-
from Honduras right there.
Yes.
And you know why else we need to make this happen? And sooner rather than later, I want to beat those guys at the Cigar Authority to having Julio on the show. Because they keep the Cigar Authority, they keep toying with it and everything. They're working both Justo and Christian on that angle. And it's like,
We're coming for you, Dave.
It'd be so nice if I could beat.
That'd be so
if
funny.
I could beat the Cigar Authority to having Julio on the show.
Dude, you guys got to come down.
I think
I'm all in.
I think so.
We could hang out down by the schoolyard.
God damn it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So, well, dude, seriously, thank you so much for coming on
This
with
has
us.
been fun. I really appreciate you guys bringing me on, especially short notice. I'm like, hey, I'm in town. Like,
Oh no, this
How you
worked
guys
out well.
doing?
We're nothing if not accommodating.
that's awesome.
Yeah, this
good.
worked out really good. All right, well, let's go eat.
Hey,
By the way,
I'm into wings and pretty things, and this is the place.
We can make
There
that
you
happen
go.
here at Top Shooters.
do
So.
All right. Well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. This is Gator.
Shout out to Broccoli Rob. This is Trey Mac. Love you, bro.
Stay safe and stay smoky.
So, Trey, seriously, thanks for hanging out with me, and I know you had to put up with Nick, too, so thank you.
God damn it.
Thank you guys. Seriously, I've had a blast though, for real. But I mean, it was tough.
Damn it.